Okay guys, so in this video we're going to be talking about the different types of market sessions, what time each market session opens and closes, and most importantly, which sessions are the best to trade in. So if you go ahead and look at my screen, you can see the different types of sessions have been marked out in boxes. Starting off with the London session that opens at 8 AM till 4 PM GMT UK times. Of course, you can go ahead and convert that to your time zone. Moving on to the New York session that opens at 1 PM till 9 PM GMT. Also within the New York session, we've got the stock exchange open, where of course that's the stock traders joining the markets at 2:30 PM GMT. Again, we do see a lot of volume within indices such as your US 30, S&P 500, Nasdaq, and of course some of your commodities like gold, oil during these times. Why? Because the markets have opened to a whole different branch of traders, so we do see a lot of movement within these indices and commodities. Anyway, moving on to the Sydney session, which opens at 8 PM till 5 AM GMT. And last but not least, you have your Asian session, which opens at 12 AM and closes at 6 AM GMT. You may be asking which sessions are the most popular, which sessions are the most traded. Well, of course, it's your London and New York session. Why? Because all your big banks, institutions, investors trade during these times. Why is this important to us? Our whole strategy is based on following smart money, following your big institutions, your banks, right? So of course we want to be trading during the same time as them so we can get into the same trades as them. And of course, if you look at the charts, you can see there's a lot of movements. You have big candle movements within these sessions, right? You don't need to get too focused on that right now, but of course I'll briefly go into it. We have big candle movements within these sessions. What does that tell us? That tells us that there's a lot of money pumped in during these times. Of course, that means bigger moves, and of course more likely for your trades to work out as well, because you are of course trading the same time as the banks. Why we don't trade the Sydney session and the Asian session? Well, these sessions are much more manipulated, and of course you will go ahead and learn more about that in the liquidity video further down the line. But quickly again, briefly going into that, because there is not as much volume in the markets, what happens is when the market tends to open the next day for the London session, a lot of stop losses, a lot of trades get taken out by the London session and the New York session. Why? Because it wants to put more money back into the markets. Okay, the smart money wants to take people out so they can take their profits, in simple terms. But again, you don't need to be too worried about that just yet, because of course we will be going further into detail in that. Just the last thing to mention as well, from 5 PM till 6 PM we have the New York lunch break. Again, within this period of time, it's ideally or psychologically known as the Wall Street lunchtime. So what happens is the market tends to quiet down for that hour, and then of course after the volatility arises again. It's a time period where I advise a lot of people not to trade or enter trades within. If you're already in a trade within that time, it's not a problem, but I wouldn't enter a trade within that time bracket, just because there's a lot of manipulation. What do I mean by a lot of manipulation? A lot of trades don't work out because it becomes liquidity. Of course, as I said, the liquidity video will be further down the line in the next videos, so you understand what I mean, and of course I'll go over it again when it gets to that video. Hope that all made sense, guys. I'll see you in the next video.